I believe that nostalgia is the only thing left as an adult that is pure and untainted. No matter what you've experienced in life, the happiness, the joys, the sad times, the bad times, nostalgia is always pure and can always make you feel good. My name's Dusty and I'm an undercover geek. I work a corporate day job, I'm a voiceover artist on the side, and I collect all things 1980s. I started collecting probably about 12 years ago, and the way that started was me and my little brother pulled out our Sega Mega Drive that we used to play as a kid, and from there I just became obsessed with collecting vintage video games. There was something about the feeling of it. From there, it kind of ballooned into what you see here. The coolest thing in the kitchen is this beauty here. So this is the National Panasonic AG500. So the way that I made the transition from collecting retro games over to VHS was actually kind of a natural progression, being that I'd already kind of played everything I wanted to play within the retro gaming world and collected everything I wanted to collect. And then one day I remembered a horror film that I watched as a child when me and my brother would go on holidays. And it took me about a day to find out what that film was. That film turned out to be Neon Maniacs, a very fun slasher film. And I just so happened to join a VHS group on Facebook that same day, and a copy also magically appeared. I purchased that film, and then it kind of snowballed from there. When it comes to VHS, I think the beauty of it is that there are a lot of films that haven't been migrated over to DVD and Blu-ray, and even when they have, there's something about the feel of those films that you can't get with Blu-ray. Blu-ray makes things feel clinical. When you're watching kind of like a grimy horror movie or an over-the-top 80s action movie, it needs to be watched on VHS. I would probably say that I watch a VHS film at least once a week, on average. Sometimes 2 or 3. So tucked away in my 2-bedroom apartment is the tape tube. So come on through. So this is where my entire VHS and Betamax collection resides. This room was really important to me to have because it kind of creates a space that makes me feel warm and hugged by all of the things that I love. There's something wonderful about the tangibility of picking up a clamshell off the shelf, opening it, holding that tape, putting it in the VCR and sitting down and watching it. There's something about the nature of overstimulation that we get with streaming services that you don't feel with VHS, because you've gone to the effort of finding the film you want to watch, putting it in the VCR, and then you've got to sit down and watch it. That and probably the wonderful trailers that we no longer see. I used to have a spreadsheet of every single VHS that I have. Unfortunately, over the last year, I've been kind of lazy with that, but I believe that my number is approximately about 1,300 VHS and Betamax tapes. I would definitely say that my favorite genres or subgenres of film would be trashy 80s ninja films, terrible so bad they're good action films, and Z-grade horror films that were just made on a shoestring budget. The reason that I love those films so much is because they were done with sincerity. And I think that's the key to making a film so bad it's good or so enjoyable, is that the person behind the camera, behind the production, really thought they were going to make a great film that was going to be loved by all. Some of the holy grails in my collection would be my copies of Weng Weng's films. So Weng Weng was a Filipino exploitation action star in the 1970s and early 80s, and some of his films are lost. but I do have a copy of The Impossible Kid, which was one of his James Bond rip-off movies, and that is the only known copy in the world. I do have some wonderful Japanese horror films that also have very low digits in the collecting community. One of them would be Guinea Pig 2, Flowers of Flesh and Blood, Konton, Gakidama, Cyclops, big fan of those. I also have a copy of the Hellbound double pack, which is a very big, wide 2-pack VHS of the first 2 Hellraiser films, and probably at least a dozen more. I think that people who only collect things for money are going to lose out on the joy of experiencing the things that they're collecting. I think the really important thing about myself and my friends who are collectors is that we are what I like to call functional collectors. So all of the things that I have work, can be used, and the beauty and the joy of them can be experienced regardless of whether I plan to sell them or not. I think that's the most important thing, is the journey is where the fun is. All of those days and those hours spent going on road trips, driving to the middle of nowhere just to get a new vintage TV, a new set of VHS tapes, that's what matters.